This is an Empty Closet Radio podcast. Get more at facebook.com/emptyclosetradio. It's so careful.
Stop laughing at me. It's not even funny.
Yes, it is.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Sam.
And this is The Empty Closet.
The show for everyone, whether you're in the closet
Or out and proud.
or somewhere in between.
101.9 Coast FM, you're in The Empty Closet with Andrew and Sam. Now, on this week's show, we are talking all about the equality vote, which is all very exciting because everyone's letters have started arriving in the mail.
Now, if you do want to catch up on any past episodes and probably hear us talk more about the equality vote, it's been a common topic lately, you can search for our podcast. Just go onto your favourite podcasting app, look for Empty Closet Radio, hit the subscribe button, or you can chase us up on social media. You can look on the big blue book of faces for Empty Closet Radio, hit the like button, or follow us on the blue Twitty bird at emptycloset_AU. You're on 101.9 Coast FM. You're in the Empty Closet with Andrew and Sam.
Empty Closet Radio. Listen to us using your TuneIn radio app on your smartphone. Very smart.
101.9 Coast FM, you're in The Empty Closet with Andrew and Sam. Sam, I did something that may seem like a very small action, but for me, it was really big. Guess what it was?
I just am suddenly thinking of painting your house beige instead of rainbow, and I'm like, no, say it isn't so.
Are you kidding? My house is like white as white could be. I went into the thing and I was like, can I just use ceiling white on everywhere? And he was like, no.
You have a giant blue wall, like a giant blue feature wall, and then a rainbow flag, and then some more rainbows over there.
It's actually tempted teal. I chose it specially because I know that all of my friends at work love teal. Favorite colour. Anyway, so what I actually did was I picked up the phone and I made some phone calls to random people and was like, hey, have you heard about the upcoming vote for marriage equality, or more appropriately worded, the survey, and helped educate people about how to fill it out straight away and get it back to make sure that their vote counts. And I was super scared at the start. It was actually really cool, Sam.
So you didn't get like a bunch of people screaming at you? How did it go?
Well, no, I didn't get a bunch of people screaming at me. The way they organised it is it's kind of like they try and get like a list of all the people who have previously like signed petitions saying that they're kind of into marriage equality and that kind of stuff. And then, so that's the list of people that you're calling. So they're not like completely unfamiliar with the issue. Well, though mind you, you'd have to be living under a rock to be unfamiliar with the challenge at the moment. So they're not completely unfamiliar with the issue, and they're people that are more likely to be voting yes. So even though I was a bit scared because I was like, I don't know whether I'm equipped to have these conversations with people, I was really nicely surprised. I spoke to this one lady who was like, because I was going to start telling her about how important it is, and she's like, no, you don't need to explain yourself to me. Your relationship's fine. Your relationship's valid. And I was like, oh, I want you to be my step godmother.
That's really nice when something like that. It's like unrelated but related but unrelated. Not related to phone calls. On social media this week, someone was given. They're in a committed same-sex relationship and have been for some time, and they don't know how one of their neighbours found out that they were gay. But somebody dropped an envelope off, sealed still, with their and it was one of the neighbours, and had written on the outside, this vote has nothing to do with me, and we shouldn't be asked this, so I'm giving my vote to you. And it was like, it wasn't just a yes, it was verbally going, I shouldn't be asked this affects you, so you should give an extra yes. I was like, oh, that's lovely.
Can I just point out that is actually like probably not really allowed. You're not really supposed to give your vote to other people. We can't encourage that.
No, but in reality, they were voting yes already. Like, it's not really giving their vote. It's not like they're like, I don't care about this issue.
Yeah, I think the symbolism is really huge there, and it's just a nice way to say, yep, this is the ball's in your court. We want to support you, which is really nice. But you know, there are people who would be voting the other way, who would be voting no. And I don't think I spoke to too many of them, or perhaps more appropriately, I should say, most of them didn't talk to me, because I do have a very distinctive voice, Sam. It is very, you know, people hear me talk and have never mistaken me for a straight guy, which is partly stereotyping.
With the possible exception of your line of work, because not everyone can pick you on the radio, which is hilarious because I can pick you anywhere and I'm like, oh, it's your professional voice. They're like, they all sound the same.
We do not all sound the same.
I think they mean the boys all sound the same.
Yeah, I suppose a lot of them do, but we've all been trained by the same people and we have to say the same thing all the time. Anyway, so it was really interesting, like a very humbling experience to be able to have all these like conversations with people and, have a bit of interaction as well. And even one of the people who was like, we did it as a group. So like, you know, we were all on our phones, like in the same room, like calling people. So that then, you know, if we did have a difficult call, then we had a support network there. And at the end of it, we all chatted about like how we went with calling our supporters. So it was a really good experience, really, really humbling. And I walked away feeling all warm and fuzzy inside. It was great, Sam.
We all need more warm and fuzzies at times like this.
Absolutely. You're on 101.9 Coast FM. You're in the empty closet with Andrew and Sam.
Not trying to be in there, not trying to be cool, just trying to be in this. Tell me how you do.
Empty Closet Radio. Like us on Facebook.
You're on 101.9 Coast FM. You're in the empty closet with Andrew and Sam. Now, Sam, during the song break, I was showing you some hilarious GIFs. I love them. They're from my favorite TV series. Is it bad that my favorite TV series basically revolves around people drinking too much and then like laying traps for each other? Housemates laying traps for each other and then laughing.
It says something about you that's your favorite TV series.
Anyway, it's very visual. And you know what else is very visual? Something that I did on the weekend, which was I went to Bunnings. I went to Bunnings with my friend Ben. And I was like, we walked in the door and the guy was like, can I help you? And I basically looked at him and I was like, where can I buy some protest signs and paint? No reason. He looked at us like, what are you two up to? We managed to find, he actually knew exactly where they were. He pointed us straight to what we needed. And so we bought all of these big pieces of core flute and we started painting them over the weekend. All really fun messages, like big rainbow stripes and things that said like, love is love and, keep calm and, vote yes. Hilarious. And these signs have a special use, Sam, which I was a little bit actually scared of to start with.
What's the special use, Andrew?
Well, you know how sometimes when there's something that's really important, people like gather together and like not become like a mob. Don't like thinking of it as a mob. They gather at the side of the road and like hold the signs as people drive past.
Yes.
All right, so these signs appeared at the side of the road and I'm not sure whether we got in trouble for it because just as we were packing up, there was like this big white van came driving past like with, I think it had like a Queensland government insignia on it and I was like, oh no, we're in trouble. But they didn't say anything.
You know, sometimes government vehicles just drive on the road and like, it's not because you're there, they just drive on the road. But you failed to mention that I do know you painted all those signs because I was also there, like on Saturday.
Yes. Well, we painted a few together actually, didn't we?
We did. We because we were continuing on from sign painting the previous week. And I was putting some finishing touches on the signs that I'd been working on with Steve. It was, yeah. My memory's not what it used to be. And we were working on kind of helping finalize some of the other bits of pieces. And one of the things I really liked, because I mean, I didn't come along to the spontaneous rainbow congregation on the side of the road, because I can't stand and hold a sign for an extended period of time without falling over.
Can I say it was like super windy the day that we did it, and I nearly got blown over.
Yeah, I probably would have flown into traffic, like whoosh, through the air. But what I really, really liked about when we had the sign painting was quite often with these kind of events, I see more of not a lot of the real young people in our community, because they're nervous, they're shy, they're scared, they're not out, they're still questioning themselves, anything. You tend to see some of the members of the community who've been kind of more comfortable in themselves for longer, who are more vocal about it. And we had that there too, but we had some really young people coming to help paint out the signs. And, you know, they came with their friends, a couple of them, and they stuck to a group, and a couple of other people came in ones and twos. And I just really liked that they were getting involved.
Yeah, and can I say, like, the most coolest signs, I've got terrible grammar, the best signs were the ones that were painted by the young'uns, and we did we did handprints on the signs. Oh, it took me back to like primary school. We did handprints on the signs. We painted a few and then we outlined them with like special textures and all kinds of stuff. It was actually really, really good. And then the next day, those signs were showcased at the side of the road. It was amazing.
It was very exciting, and they will continue to be showcased for a little while, I believe.
Oh yeah, totally. If you want to get involved in our little underground movement, get in contact on the Empty Closet Facebook page, and we'll hook you up. You're on 101.9 Coast FM. You're in the Empty Closet with Andrew and Sam.
Sometimes nothing is harder than waking.
Empty Closet Radio, because no one else wants to be stuck in the closet. God.
101.9 Coast FM, you're in the Empty Closet with Andrew and Sam. Now, Sam, we have been talking quite a lot about our efforts in the Yes campaign, because I feel like I'm incredibly biased. Is this now like the best time to disclose that, yes, I'm gay, I need to come out of the closet? So this like equal marriage stuff is like really quite important to me, because it's going to affect me a lot. I know earlier it might seem like I'm some kind of crazy activist, but I don't feel like I started out this year being like, yes, we're going to protest on the side of the road. Awesome. Actually, that was shit scary. And I don't like that we had to do it. Well, I don't like that I felt that I had to do it. What do you think are some other challenges around this sort of time?
I think for people who believe in equality generally, but specifically for members of the LGBTIQ community, I think that finding out that people around them either don't care enough to vote, or are planning on voting no, or do that, you know, the thing where they go, I was going to vote yes, and then somebody like acted really horrible, and so now I'm going to vote no. Newsflash, you're probably never going to vote yes, because somebody's rights shouldn't be tied up in how they behave. You know, just because somebody swears at you doesn't mean they don't deserve equal rights. Like, doesn't mean they, you know. So I think that, like, I know I've seen a few posts and they always break my heart a bit, where they're like, I just found out that my dad's going to vote no, or my, one of my, you know, friends that I've known since I was 11 has unfriended me over equality. Like, people are losing friends on this. And, you know, and then, the No campaign has outspent the Yes campaign by like 5 times what the Yes campaign have spent on TV ads. So if you're someone who has a family who sits and watches TV in the evenings, you're getting lies and slander sent straight into your living room as authorised by these groups because the government says that we have to vote on your rights. Like, it's gross. It's horrible. And you know, there's enough people feeling attacked for being bigots, which I don't condone. I don't think that you should commit violence against people or anything like that. But, you know, they're like, I can't speak my mind without being called a bigot. Well, that's because your beliefs are bigotry. Like, but, you know, they're self-conscious enough about it that the thing is starting to come out that they just feel like they're the ones who are really suffering. And it can be easy as a member of the community to feel like everyone's losing sight of what's actually going on.
Yeah, and it can be a really tough time. There's this great thing that I found, though, Sam. This is the good part. So the Queensland AIDS Council have put out this thing about ways to help us stay strong during this debate. And during debate's probably a very generous way to talk about the discussion that's been going on. But during this time, there are some things that we can be doing to look after ourselves and look after our friends. One of the things that they talk about is maybe you should just log off. And that's talking about like social media. Like, I have definitely taken to that. But I did that a long time ago, logging off. The only time I go on is to like put things up there for the empty closet.
Well, you know, we spoke about it on the show a few weeks ago that I had a couple of weeks off social media, and I tend to have given it a lot more space recently for that reason. And I have also spent more time with, like, my supportive friends, you know, and the people who I feel will, or even electronically talking to friends that are maybe out of state, you know, and we'll support each other when we're having a bad day, or we'll rage at something together so that we feel vindicated, you know.
And it's amazing, like, even just spending a short amount of time with your good friends that share the same values as you, and not in an online way, like in person, just hanging out, it can be so rejuvenating. Even so much as, like, one of my mates commented the other day, he was like, so-and-so, I haven't seen him like this for weeks. It's like he's back to his old self. And it was just because we're in an environment surrounded by lots of friends and positivity, and people they really just, like, enjoy it. They soak it up. So yeah, super important. Like, if you're finding the debate arduous, just, like, log off of the social media. Don't watch the news. Like, just try and connect with some of your friends who share your experience, who share the way that you think.
We're going to get back onto these in just a moment. You're on 101.9 Coast FM. You're in the Empty Closet with Andrew and Sam.
All yours if you want it. Non-stop giving you everything I got on.
Empty Closet Radio, facebook.com/Empty Closet Radio.
You're on 101.9 Coast FM. You're in the Empty Closet with Andrew and Sam, and we're talking a bit about resilience during this ongoing debate, for lack of a better word. And we talked about logging off and connecting with the people around you. One of the other things, and I think, or two of the other things that I think are really important that tend to be the first thing to go when you're stressed, when you're upset, when you're angry, and this is very much, you need to work within your own physical and mental limits with this, is to try and stay active, and also to eat and sleep as well as you can. So, look, there are limits to that. You may not be able to be active for a variety of reasons. Maybe you have chronic fatigue. Maybe you can't go outside. Maybe you have an impairment that makes that difficult, or differently abled in some way. If you're low on cash, it can be hard to eat well. And if you're a shift worker, or if you've got young kids, it might be hard to sleep well. But as much as possible within the limits of your life, try and make those a priority, because they tend to get pushed aside when you're not perhaps as emotionally well as you might normally be, or might be capable of. And they're the things that really help, you know. Get outside if you can, have a breath of fresh air, eat good food, and also just, you know, food that you enjoy eating, because like that will, like if it's a toss up between, you know, a shake you don't like and like a really, really, really tasty roast vegetable salad, eat the vegetable salad because you'll be happier eating it. So try and do those things. And try and take some time for yourself to relax as well. If you can, if it's possible, try and carve out those few minutes to just breathe.
I have some strategies. One of my strategies that I've implemented just recently, Sam, is I set myself a goal. So my goal was I'm going to go and exercise every day. So I got some whiteboard markers, and on my bathroom mirror, I have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and like dots. And so then each day that I exercise, I can like rub off one of the dots with my finger, because I can't be bothered getting a pen every day. I put the dots on once a week. And it's really good. It's really like, it keeps you really in check. And it's good because you're like, maybe I do need to take a little bit of time for myself today. It's definitely worthwhile.
Now, another thing that I think is really important and maybe doesn't get done too much is try to recognize what you're feeling. Like, don't just go, this is stupid and dumb. Actually go, I feel upset and angry about this, you know, and only then can you kind of manage that. Otherwise, you just feel like out of control.
Well, and once you name it, you can talk about it as well, can't you? So, like, if I can say, like, I actually feel really frustrated that we are actually even having this whole postal ballot survey thing, makes me really disappointed in our leaders, because it shows a complete lack of leadership. But that is definitely a political discussion, not practicalities of everyday life. Yeah, so I've chosen not to discuss too much about that and just be really pragmatic and get on with the business of trying to encourage people to participate in the system.
And that's another thing that's kind of involved in this, is support the community. So like, you know, as you know, because we were just discussing what we were doing on the weekend and what you were doing on, you know, Monday afternoon and so on, is supporting the community, like feeling like, okay, we're stuck with this, but, you know, now we're going to work to get this way, or I'm going to, you know, check in on my friends, and doing what you can within the community, is another good way to stay positive, because you're surrounded by people who feel the same.
There is one of these tips that's on the Queensland AIDS Council's resilience page. We're going to upload this to our social media, so make sure you have a look as well. Or you can find it just by searching hashtag LGBTI resilience. So one of the things that they talk about that I am really bad at is take time to relax. What are some tips? What should I be doing, Sam?
Look, I've found, because this is something I actually have to do in conjunction with my head injury. So even aside from the stress and frustration of this vote, this is something I've been trying to learn to do for months. I actually set alarms, because I cannot yet recognize that I need the break. Sometimes I do. So you need to set an alarm when you're at home or when you're doing something, even if it feels productive. And when the alarm goes, put it down for a couple of minutes and go for a walk, or do a breathing exercise if you've got a meditation app or something like that, or eat a biscuit, or listen to a song that you like. And just for that space, just do that thing. Don't go, I have to get back and do this paperwork, or I have to get back and do this other thing. Take the break, Andrew. You're on 101.9 Coast FM. You're in the empty closet with Andrew and Sam. He's going to have a break on this song, maybe.
Seeing your face for a second. Without a trace, I lose you just as fast.
Empty Closet Radio, because no one wants to be stuck in the closet.
Let go, let go, let go.
101.9 Coast FM. You're in the empty closet with Andrew and Sam. Now, Sam, a few months ago, there was a book that was launched that was very important to our community. A man named Ian Byford, he wrote a book called Passing Glances, and it's all about the gay history of Cairns.
Now, long-time listeners to the show will remember the book launch because we talked about it and we got our copies and we were very excited. And they may also remember that we sat in on a really long interview with Ian for one of our episodes when he was talking about his personal history while he was still writing the book. So we've talked about this before, but there's a new exciting thing about the book.
Yes. Well, it's actually being showcased at the Cairns Library. Like, that's actually pretty big because, you know, when this whole book thing started out, like, it was pretty much just like, oh, quick, let's write down a few little memoirs before we forget. And now suddenly it's like, it's a piece of work and it's being showcased in the library, which is where published pieces of work are kept.
I also think that it's very timely that they're showcasing it at the moment. And I suspect that that's a very intentional show of support from the council or the librarians or somebody, which I think is great.
I think it's also kind of getting people warmed up a bit for an event that's coming up during the Tropical Mardi Gras celebrations, or Cairns Tropical Pride as it's called at the moment. Because during those celebrations, Ian's going to be hosting a historical walk through the CBD of Cairns. And I think it might even be starting at the library. So it's good that we've got a bit of representation there, and it just shows that, you know, this whole gay thing isn't a new phenomenon. There's a lot of history and a lot of people who have fought really hard over a long amount of time for our rights.
Now, if you haven't yet read the book, you can actually purchase it. There's, you know, you can go to the bookshops in town and things like that. But you might be interested to know that it's not a modern history, although there's a lot of that too. It actually starts with the suspected or confirmed publicized cases of homosexuality from the founding of Cairns as a settlement. But what I found particularly interesting is that I didn't know until I read Passing Glances that the movement to decriminalise homosexuality in Queensland got started in Cairns, and it got started with two people, one of which was a heterosexual woman because her son was gay, and that was really good because allies lend, like, her friends, her social circle, all the married ladies lent this like veneer of professionalism. You know, it wasn't just about somebody going, well, you just want special treatment. Like, clearly it wasn't. They thought it was a rights issue, and really helped it along. And there's a lot of funny stories in there too, and there might even be a mention of a radio show, just a tiny one.
Sam, are you encouraging me to actually read the book that I purchased?
I'm always going to encourage you to read books, Andrew, but you would actually enjoy this one.
I need to confess, I've got the book, I've got a copy of it. I have flicked through and looked at all the pictures and it's lovely. But I haven't actually read it cover to cover. I'm a terrible person.
If you're like Andrew and you only read things in tiny segments, be comforted by the fact that it's not like chapters. At most, you've got probably a page, 2 pages at a time to read. Like, each thing's a little individual bit of the story. So you could read it just like in that 5-minute break that you have to take.
You know what we should do, Sam? We should turn it into an audiobook and release it on, like, special podcasts.
And see, you're coming up with ideas. Now we're going to have to do it. We've said it on air. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I'm going to stop giving myself work. Let's play a song. You're on 101.9 Coast FM. You're in the Empty Closet with Andrew and Sam.
Empty Closet Radio, 9 p.m. Tuesdays, 101.9 Coast FM.
101.9 Coast FM, you're in the Empty Closet with Andrew and Sam. Now, we're going to wrap up. We've said enough. We've said our bit. If you're interested to get involved with any of the sign painting, flag waving, phone calling, activism that's happening, it's all kind of part of the LGBT Alliance here in Cairns. So they do have social media resources. If you just search for the Cairns LGBT Alliance, then you will be linked in with all of the information. You can also just send us a direct message on our social media page, and I'll make sure to get you in touch with the right people so that you can participate as much as you wish or as little as you wish. If you are interested to look for some more information about the LGBTI Resilience Program through QUAC, please check out our Facebook page, but also just search for the hashtag LGBTI Resilience, and you'll see a bunch of resources there. So make sure that you stay strong during this discussion, where we're going to get through it. Hopefully it's a good outcome.
And you can always just message us if you need. We are going to listen. Just message us on our social media platforms, and otherwise we will catch you next week.
There is one more thing that I forgot to tell you about, Sam. There's a community forum coming up. How typical of me, I'm like, oh yeah, I think I've got everything written down. No, I forgot. So this is happening next week. It's on the 27th of September. Put it in your diaries, from 6 o'clock, and it's happening at the Queensland AIDS Council office, which is 290 Draper Street, Parramatta Park. They're looking for information for a new program that they're about to launch, which is called Ready for Sex. It's a bit raunchy, I think. So bring along your ideas. Come and share a little bit about what sort of stuff you'd like to see in the campaign. You know, they're going to have food and drink there. Make sure that we have some stories to tell. So lots of cool stuff happening there. It's a community forum happening on the 27th of September. I'll have more information about that next week as well. If you'd like to listen to any of our past episodes, you can check out our podcast using your favourite podcasting app. Just search for Empty Closet Radio, hit the subscribe button, and you'll be able to access all 140 something past episodes of what we've been talking about.
We will have to, maybe we'll do our book podcast for 150. We'll see how we go.
Yes.
You're on 101.9 Coast FM. You're in the Empty Closet with Andrew and Sam.
Thanks for listening to The Empty Closet, brought to you by 1019 Coast FM Cairns.